Listen, let's rock and roll here. We're going to bring in our guest, and I'm going to start the guest with a cut. I got a little bit of a hook for you guys, and it starts like this. I felt overlooked, underutilized, and trapped in a box I didn't build. Yep. Yes. That's how today's guest spent years of his life until he discovered something that changed everything. How to unlock your complete identity and build a brand no one can copy. Today, he's sharing his blueprint. Today, welcome to Center Stage. We are bringing in our guest, Daniel Brenneman, who went from feeling confined by simple roles to building what he calls a remarkably unique life and business. Today, we are welcoming Daniel Brenneman to the lab. Mornings in the lab with Keith and friends. What's shaking, Daniel?
What's up, Daniel?
Hey, good to have you, man.
What's up, Daniel?
Good to see you, man. Good to see you. We celebrated you in the Creative Spotlight last week, bringing you here in the show today, bringing the energy and so forth. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Daniel, because we always like to start with this first question. The first question to all of our guests. Where are you located, and how do you start your daily morning routine, Daniel Brenneman?
I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. And wow, that focus is way off. My apologies.
Yeah, we were wondering you're looking at a focus. I'm joking. There you go.
There, that autofocus is getting me. All right, Charlotte, North Carolina. And my morning, I start getting up, drinking my coffee, reading my Bible, and doing LinkedIn brain games. I know it sounds funny, weird, but gets my brain going, gets the juices flowing, and do that. And then spending time with my kids, getting them off to school, all of that, because that is top thing for me. And then right after that, it's LinkedIn posts, getting my social media presence going and talking about the thing that I'm trying to bring into the world.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Good morning, Blaze. Good morning, Mike McQuillan, Fit Presenter. And good morning, Shinku Gould. It's good to see you guys here this morning. So, Daniel, is that routine every single day? And then did it just happen by accident, or have you had to hone that routine in place for you?
Oh, no, it's honed. It's for sure honed. And it's every weekday. Weekends are a little crazier for me because the kids have sports and all kinds of nonsense that's going on at all times. But definitely something that's honed, something that I found works for me, gets my morning going better. And yeah, it's definitely something that is a work in progress always, because the seasons change and what I need season to season changes. So it definitely, sometimes it's working out in the mornings. Sometimes it's doing the relaxing, reading the Bible. Sometimes it's spending time with my wife because we don't have time with others. So there are different seasons and different things that are required, but the morning routine to me is of paramount importance.
Awesome. Good morning, Bill Crosby. You're hanging out with the used car dealers here this morning. Richie will sell you a Toyota. Johnny's got the Honda. And Marty's got the Jeep. And, of course, I got the old jalopy in the corner there. So, Bill, if you need some cars, you're in the right show here.
Hold on. Did you just tell me I got a Honda or I'm a Honda? Come on, man.
I said you're selling
That's a good car, man. That's solid.
Jesus Christ. I'm not saying that it's a good car. I'm just saying that's not my type of car.
So bougie, man.
Maybe I wanted a Volkswagen. Does that make me?
Still a little bougie.
Well, you know better than that, but I'm just saying.
Still a little bougie.
I'm just saying. So, Daniel, you went from graphic designer to strategist to email marketer, feeling confined in each role. So take us to that moment when you realized you were living as just a fraction of who you could be. Like, what triggered that wake-up call? I can tell you right now, Daniel, you talked to Rich, you had a wake-up call. You talked to Johnny, wake-up call. Marty, wake-up call. We all had our wake-up calls. What was your wake-up call, Daniel Brenneman?
Man, it was when other people started calling out things in me that I myself didn't even see. So there were several people that I got into business with, fractional roles, different things like that, towards the end of my tenure on the staff at the church I was working at. And they looked at me and said, hey, what you do is really unique. Like, you are able to take these complex concepts and break them down into simple parts and help people understand things better and do this. And your brand stuff that you create tells a great story. It really just speaks to people at a different level. And the way you relate to people and lead people is incredible. And so I was looking at all these things like, oh, crap. I am more than this role. I'm more than that role. And that's why I've always bounced around. I've always been more of a utility player. The old adage is, hey, Daniel can figure that out. And so I had never moved up because I always had to fill roles that were needed to be filled. And I could always figure things out. but it was always one singular discipline. And so when I looked at things holistically and said, oh, I've developed this and this and this and this and this, I have something much more to bring into the world than just that single discipline.
Oh, I love that. Richie.
No, yeah, I completely agree with that. I think a lot of times we just have to listen. And I think it's interesting that you're in, whether you want to call it spiritual or an awakening, that's similar to how I got into what I am. I just started listening to the universe, what people were telling me, certain things that I was seeing. And then, you know what? That really turned into the passion of what I found to be a purpose in my life. So
This is interesting because Johnny, when I met you, you said the same thing to me. You said the exact same thing to me, Johnny, when I met you. And then Marty, as I've gotten to know you, Marty, you've expressed how you follow the Bible, and obviously that's a part of Daniel's foundation. But let's start with Johnny. Like Johnny, Daniel's talking about the energy, about moving towards energy. And John, when you and I met, you're like, Keith, there's energy here, man. Lean into that, because the guy is going, is that natural? Is that real? John Anderson.
I think there's almost a certain skill that you have to develop in terms of being tuned in. And it's almost like we all got these little antennas, but most of them are laid down tight like this. And when we got to learn to get them up. And forgive me, I'm tracking a little slow this morning. I didn't realize I was tracking slow till I got on this show, and I'm like 5 seconds behind everything that's coming in. Even though there's no delay in my Wi-Fi, I'm still tracking slow. So forgive this should have been a little better, but it's like you almost have to develop as you grow. If you're open, you got to be open, and you develop this ability to hear. You develop this ability to feel. And if you're lucky, like I was, I just got just hit like a fucking freight train when I wasn't able to hear. And it was the reason I believe that I could feel it is because I was so challenged when something that my purpose came along. It was just a stark difference from everything else in my life. And I was like, whoa, what is this? At the age I didn't even know I had antennas, let alone get them up. But it was just boom, all of a sudden it just hit me like a freight train. And thank God it did, because Jesus Christ, I always make the joke, man. God knows where I would be or what I'd be doing if I didn't get hit like that.
Yeah. Marty, Daniel talks about he starts his day with the Bible, and I know it's a big part of your life as well. And we've had guests come through the lab here recently where it's a foundation of how they start their day. Marty, when you hear Daniel using that as a foundation for his day, lean into that a little bit, Marty. And what unlocks for you when you hear that from Daniel? It's that foundation, isn't it, Marty?
Yeah, man, I could talk about this all day.
Yeah.
But so Daniel does it in the morning before he starts his day. So that's that positivity right there. You start your day with a good word. So you're just going to go into your day with a different mindset. And then I said it on here before, like every life situation I've encountered, like I'm talking about all of them, is in the Bible in some way, shape, or form. So that right there is just a good guide to tell you how to move or how to respond to things instead of react to things. We talked about that yesterday. But that's a good way to go throughout life. I love that.
Yeah, I love what's coming to life with this show. And I guess I'm Marty, I'm looking at you because you and I've been around for so long with this thing, is that we are creating safe spaces, welcome conversations, anybody welcome here. And some tuning in and be going, oh, you guys are leaning into the Bible. Oh, you guys are leaning into all this crazy religious stuff. Actually, no, not at all. It's a foundation. There's words, positivity. For some folks, they need that to help them move forward. To some folks who read other things. And I think that's what's so awesome about what we're creating here, is that we invite this in here. There's no judgment.
And
right?
Guess what, Keith? We would let Hindus come on here. We would let Buddhists come on here. Everybody, we would just have a conversation.
100%. And that's what I love about that. And I keep learning too, which is because Richie, yesterday, Johnny starts quoting the Bible, and me and Marty and starting to laugh, but not at Johnny, because the guy's a theology major, he's a philosophy major, and you're looking at him going,
minor. Don't oversell me. I got a minor in philosophy.
Keith's a businessman. He's gonna oversell it.
But the fact that we all judge a book by its cover, and you're like, Johnny's quoting that. But my point is, it's just we all need foundational references, and Daniel starts his day, Marty starts his day using the Bible in that sort. So listen, we're gonna do this. Go ahead,
Can I
Johnny.
sneak in real quick before we get out of this? I just wanted, I'm tracking slow today, and as I was sitting there realizing that what I didn't add to what I was saying was probably the most important part, is that when someone does actually, whether like myself, get hit like a freight train with a purpose, or they just slowly catch on with the antennas, the odds are the world or even their family is going to tell them they're fucking nuts. What are you thinking? What are you doing? You should be doing like everybody else. So if you catch your purpose, if you're I hate to say luck. If you get tuned in and you find it, that's great. But the hardest part is to actually honor that with everybody around you telling you that you can't. Everybody around you telling you you're fucking stupid. So when you do find it, that's the most important thing. All you got to do is stick to it long enough that people believe that you're going to stick with it and you're out of the woods.
It's so true. It's so true. Hey, it's bottom of the hour here. We get to see Marty Fitz coming up here in about a minute and a half. But before we do that, Daniel, question for you, brother.
Yeah.
Video content, it's central to how you help others unlock their complete identity. Tell us your framework. How do you help someone, use Richie. How do you help someone identify the parts of themselves they've been hiding? What's that process for turning those hidden elements into brand power? Daniel Brenneman.
So a couple of things there that I think that it's a two-part question, right? The video is the execution side of it. The elements are the brand side. So if I'm looking at Richie and saying, hey, here, we're going to figure out exactly what that unique brand identity is, I will go back into the story. I think our brand purpose, our personal brands, what makes us unique and remarkable is to be excavated, not fabricated. So it's already there. We have breadcrumbs back on our path, on our trail, our journey that inform that, because most people will look at life as a singular path, a linear journey, and say, I moved past this season, I moved past that season. My belief is that they're more concentric circles, that those circles overlap in all kinds of different areas. And there's one specific pinpoint where they all overlap. And if you can identify that, then you have the unique way you are able to talk that no one else can talk that way. You look at, I would listen to people's stories, and I'll go back to their childhood and say, hey, what's the thing that you did inordinately that everyone else compliments you on that you look and say, that's normal. That's just how I do things. And then I'll say, hey, did you always do it that way? Look back at your childhood. Is that how you naturally did things? Or are you moving away from something that happened in childhood? Those are generally the two different areas. And so you look at that thread that's pulled all the way through, and then you start to combine those different experiences with your skill sets. And now you have a unique position on what you do. You're not just competing at the level of your skill set. You're competing in a one-of-one scenario because no one else has the same skill sets, perspectives, and unique experiences that you do. And so when I get on video, what I do is I have frameworks that I've created that I will set out my audience or what the mission is, what my values are. And I'll look and say, what does that person need to hear? And does it align with what I need to bring into this world? Does it align with the brand promise that I make? And does it align with the mission that I'm trying to bring into this world?
Awesome. Hey, you're hanging out with Daniel Brenneman, Keith Phillips, John Anderson, C. Marty Finn, and of course, our buddy Rich Ingram here as well, and producer Flynn and producer Jimmy on the buttons. You guys hear the sound effects. Marty's up. Marty's talking to you boys about touching toes. Marty, there's a lot of guys that can't touch their toes, man. They can't.
That's the wrong song, but you're right. You're absolutely right. I agree with you, Keith.